So, you've been elected as social media manager for your college esports club or program. I'm sure you're excited to get to work taking pictures, creating graphics, and supporting your team through live coverage. And congratulations! While you will get to create some really awesome content, I want to talk to you about some of the least glamorous but most impactful work that you can do that will set you up for success, not only for your club's social media, but also for your future resume and portfolio. My name is Sheridan. I am the founder of College Esports News and former social media manager from Florida State Esports. I've worked in college esports for the past 4 years, so these are some of my tips and tricks how I captured social media metrics and used them on my own resume and portfolio. And hook aside, if you're not a social media manager, but someone in charge of your club, team, school, program, organization, socials, whatever you are, this is one of the biggest things that you can do to help set yourself and your organization up for success. Today, I'll be telling you all about social media analytics, why they're important, how often to collect them, how to use those metrics, and I'll even take you through collecting those analytics across various platforms. And just to let you know, this will be more of a beginner lesson and not super advanced. However, I still encourage you to take a look at the template that we use at College Esports News to collect and store our social media metrics and see if that's something that'll work for you. What are social media analytics? Social media analytics are data points that measure your social media strategy. At College Esports News, we track monthly metrics, but you could opt for even weekly or daily. Metrics and analytics are so important because they can help you measure how your content performed over the course of a month, and you can even go through and pinpoint specific posts that performed well. Metrics can be used to track progress, but it can also help you inform your strategy. Also, I want to say that if you are a social media manager making content and something you post doesn't quite hit, doesn't get the amount of views or impressions that you think, don't let these metrics define you. This is all about how to use these analytics, and analytics, while great, and they're points of data, they're not always gonna tell you if something's good or bad. So just keep that in mind. If something that you make doesn't hit, don't let it define you, okay? Finally, metrics are super important because they can be used in pitch decks that you can send to potential sponsors or partners. Not tracking metrics is a huge mistake because they're simple to track and can play a huge role in defining the impact of your program to sponsors, partners, administrators, etc. So you should be tracking them. As I mentioned before, College Esports News tracks metrics monthly because at this time we don't really have a need for weekly or daily analytics. However, for any partnered content or big campaigns that we do, we collect specific post information and analytics to share with our partners or sponsors. So, how can you use these social media metrics? Number 1, goal setting. You can use these numbers to help you inform social media goals around your organization. You can focus on key metrics such as follower count, impressions, and engagements. Those are the ones that we like to focus on a lot, especially engagements and engagement rate. Number 2, you can analyze trends. You can look for patterns in your data over time to identify if certain types of content are consistently performing better. Number 3, adjust your strategy. If your memes are getting a lot of engagement through likes, reposts, or comments, aim to start creating more memes if you have the bandwidth. Number 4, resume. One thing that helped me a lot when I was in undergrad was using social media metrics to track my performance in something that I could put on my resume. When I first started as social media manager for Florida State Esports, I wrote down all of our follower accounts in a spreadsheet and tracked it over time. And once I graduated, I was able to point to specific numbers. For example, I increased FSU Esports' Twitter impressions from 10,000 per month to over 100,000 per month by creating unique content supporting our teams. An example of this is, Number 5, pitch deck. I had mentioned this before, but College Esports News uses our analytics to put into pitch decks or recap decks for partners. For example, we start our decks with an R impact slide, including our numbers from 2022, which we do have a disclaimer for in the bottom right. And then we transition into a year at a glance impressions, narrowing in on where we're currently at. And then finally, we have slides on specific offerings such as live coverage, community brackets, and program spotlights. This demonstrates our impact on a very specific scale so our partners can understand how all of the impressions from 2024 can ultimately break down into these 3 or so categories. Our pitch deck is something we are constantly updating as we cover new events or as the months progress throughout the year. We always want to be showing new numbers of how our content is performing rather than rely on old numbers. Do not underestimate the least glamorous part of being a social media manager. This is often some of the foundational work that you can do to set yourself and your organization up for success in the future. I think we focus a lot on the here and now, what's the cool content that we can create right now, right here, but we should also be collecting those metrics, see how those pieces of content perform, and then also setting ourselves up for a successful future by including that in our portfolios and our resumes. Do not underestimate hard data that you can use to show why you're so good at your job, why your content is so great, why your team is doing awesome on social. So I will be taking you through grabbing social media metrics from X, formerly known as Twitter. Unfortunately, I believe that you do have to have premium in order to get your analytics. So it currently costs $8 per month if you want to get analytics on X. I'm going to take you through it anyway. And if you're a CEN person, you will obviously log into our account. Honestly, I think it's worth it, but I will also walk you through how to do this manually if you don't want to have X Premium, which is totally understandable, especially if you don't have budget for it. It's definitely understandable. But I will take you through both options. One is a bit more manual than the other, so just keep that in mind. So once you're on Twitter, you want to navigate to this X Premium tab. Once you click into it, there is a tab called Analytics, and then you are going to set the duration of when you want to capture. So we are going to pull December 2024 analytics. This is how we do it at College Esports News. If you want to do weekly, you can. There is a 7-day option, 2-week option, 4-week option, and now it's just as easy as filling it in. So 49.3K. They don't show you specific numbers unless you add it all up manually, which really sucks. Engagement, 1.6K. That's going to be right here under engagements. Likes, let's see, 334. Comments, 20, 76 reposts. So the final thing we're going to put is our engagement rate. You can also calculate this yourself by dividing engagements by impressions. So that is the very easy way to do this. If you have the budget to get X Premium for the $8 a month version. Something that they also do, which I really like, that we haven't quite used for CEN, but if you wanted to, you can look at your best tweet from that time. I'm going to roll this over. You can select the duration. So you can sort by all of these: impressions, likes, replies, reposts. You can't do it by total engagements, unfortunately, but it's still very helpful to see what your best performing post was. So you could also copy this down into your spreadsheet if you wanted to. You can also just share it if you want to as well, but just keeping in mind your best post. The manual way to do this, I would start a new sheet, type in impressions, likes, comments, shares, bookmarks if you want. Then you would scroll all the way back to December 1st, or the first of the month, and you can manually add them up. So 3,200, and then I would do 14 likes, 0 comments, 9 retweets. I would open it up in a new tab, and you can look at bookmarks. There's 0 bookmarks on here. You don't even have to do bookmarks if you don't want to. It's really up to you. And then I would do this one, 274 impressions. And then once you're done, once you got all the numbers in there, you'll do equals sum, and then you add it all up. And then you add up all those numbers, and you would put it in your spreadsheet in their respective columns. Let's calculate followers. Let me show you November. You just do equals Y12 minus W12. The followers from December minus the followers from November, and you can calculate how many follows you got during the month. And so typically I would capture these metrics on the first day of the month as much as I can. A few days extra won't hurt you, and then I'm gonna show you the rest of the platforms. All right, on to TikTok. So the first thing you want to do is mark down how many followers that you have in total. So we have 863, and then you're gonna navigate to the little hamburger, like 3-bar icon in the top right. You hit TikTok Studio, and then it starts to show some analytics. You're going to hit View All, and then you are going to set it to Custom. And you're going to go back just like you did with Twitter. You're going to select all the dates, and then you can start typing in the numbers. So we had 12K views, 120 profile views, 298 likes, 8 comments, 13 shares. And then for viewers, you're going to navigate over to the viewers tab, new viewers, and then followers. Once again, we can actually just see it on there, so I'll show you that, 12 followers. There you go. All right, so once you're on YouTube, you want to go over to your YouTube studio. As you can see here on this main page, there isn't a lot of information. There's some numbers, but it's not everything. So you're going to want to go to Analytics, and then you're going to go up here. You're going to select the time periods, December 2024, and see how it changes the numbers there. But these aren't all the numbers that we're looking for. But the first thing you want to do is grab your subscriber count, 296, and then you're going to hit Advanced Mode. Advanced Mode is going to open up this chart with a lot more information. I would start by going through the numbers that are here before you start adding more numbers. So let's start with views, watch time, subscribers. Impressions click-through rate is 3.3%. When you want to add more, you're going to hit this plus button to add metrics to the table. Go to the top, we're going to look for average percentage viewed. That's here at the top. Found that, 14%. Again, you're going to go to the plus and find average view duration. And these metrics are all encompassing. So it's grabbing your YouTube shorts, it's grabbing your long form videos, it's grabbing everything. So definitely keep that in mind. Average views per viewer. Shares. All right, that's it for YouTube, and we'll do the last one, Instagram. Instagram is one of the most annoying platforms to grab analytics for because they don't give you all the information, which is really annoying. So I grabbed that manually. You will navigate to your profile, hit Professional Dashboard, and then you are going to click on the first one, Accounts Reached. So you're going to click in the top left, change to previous month, make sure it's the right dates, and then start to copy down the information. Impressions, it shows 2,430, okay. Make sure as you're navigating through these tabs that you're changing the date, doesn't keep it from tab to tab. Check your followers, 349. And views. So typically how I do this is I scroll back to find our first post from the month, and then I click View Insights. And from here I'm going to start writing things down. So usually I start a new page and I write views, likes, comments, shares. I combine shares and bookmarks. So for this one it has 0 views because it's a photo, but it has 3 likes, 0 replies, and 0 shares. Then to the next one, scroll up, 89 views. 200. I'll just keep going like this through every single post until I'm done. Okay. Then once you're done, you're going to equal sum and start adding it up. I make it bold so I can easily see it. And then I'll usually make a duplicate tab and put it over here so I can start filling it in side by side. So 567 views, 50 likes, 1 comment, and 5 shares. If you have a LinkedIn and you have a page for your organization, this is how you can find analytics. You're going to find your page here. You have to be a super admin, I believe, or you have to be at least a content editor to be able to see it. So you click Analytics, you're going to set the time period, update, and here you go. So you have your impressions. Since we didn't post during this time, I can't show you that, but you can also select a time period here, and it'll show you your top post. And then you can navigate to these other tabs like visitors. Once again, set your duration every single time. Page views, unique visitors, followers. You don't have to set the duration for this one, but it shows you how many followers. And yeah, that's how you grab all of your analytics for X, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So that's about it. Thank you so much for joining. Be sure to check out the template linked below. If you have any questions, you can always leave a comment or send us a DM or even message me if you want to. Be sure to follow. Let us know what you want to see in the College Esports News Resources series that we're kind of working on here. So if you have anything else you want to talk about, this is a space where we can learn from one another. So yeah, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!